Hi, I'm Chef Dean Edwards and this is my little sidekick,
Indy.
And today we are bringing you a taste of France with Thermomix and recipes from the Cookie Dough platform.
Bon appetit!
Today we are going to be cooking up a classic beef bourguignon with creamy Dauphinoise potatoes.
Come on Dad, let's cook the Dauphinoise. You need 2 cloves of garlic.
And we're going to pop these into the mixing bowl, just like so. We're going to press next. And then this is going to speed 5 for 5 seconds. So all I like to do now is just scrape down the sides of the mixing bowl, and then we move on to the key ingredient of any great Dauphinoise. See you beauties. Some lovely potatoes. That's a scary one, no, didn't you? So we're going to need about 1.2 kilos of floury potatoes, so something like a King Edwards. That's a good name, isn't it, Indy?
Yeah, very.
A King Edwards or a Marish Piper or Desiree. So you want to slice these around 2 to 3 millimeters thick. But it's really important that they're all cut the same thickness so they cook at the same time. So just continue until you've sliced up all the potatoes, and then they'll be ready to pop into the mixing bowl. Go on then, be very careful, always make sure you supervise your kids and they're keeping their little fingers out of the way. Indy, you're doing a good job. And the bonus of this dish, it doesn't actually really matter how it looks in the final run, because it'll be covered in cheese, bubbling away and be beautifully golden. Indy, that is absolutely perfect. So let's just pop these into the mixing bowl, and you can actually weigh the ingredients in as they go in, which is absolutely a great part of the cookie dough experience. So just throw those into the mixing bowl. And then we want to pour in 500 grams of double cream. Then into the mixing bowl, we are gonna add about 2 teaspoons of sea salt. So just sprinkle that in there. And what else, Indy?
And a good grinding of black pepper.
Lovely. And then the final ingredient is a good pinch of nutmeg. A little sniff of that.
Oh, that's very strong.
So just sprinkle that in. A little goes a long way. Then you need to pop the lid on, press next, and then we want to cook this for 20 minutes, 100 degrees at stir speed.
So the potatoes are perfectly cooked.
Let's have a little look. Look.
That smells so good.
At that.
Oh,
That does smell really
smells
amazing.
amazing.
Cream, garlic. Listen, no one said this was going to be good for your waistline. So all you need to do is just pour that into a baking dish.
I literally can't wait to eat this.
Just use a spoon to get out the final potatoes. And then
Now you can add some drizzle of cheese.
right, there was 100 grams of Gruyere cheese in this bowl. I reckon there's about 50 grams now because someone keeps eating it. You can use any type of cheese for this, but this beautifully nutty Gruyere is the perfect accompaniment to the cream, the garlic and the potatoes.
Also, it's so good, so.
So just sprinkle that on. So always save a little bit for your helper. Now this is ready for the oven, so I've preheated it to 215 degrees. It's going to take around 15 minutes, but you can do this ahead of time as well. So if you want to do it the day before, you can just finish it off in the oven. But I'm going to set this to one side now while we set up to cook our beautiful beef bourguignon. So we are all set to kick off cooking our beef bourguignon. So Indy, do you want to tell us what ingredients we need?
Onions, garlic, carrots, beef, bacon, herbs, wine, water and mushrooms.
It's literally as easy as that. So, Indy, do you want to start off by cutting the onion into quarters?
Yeah.
Indy, that is perfect. It's almost like you've done that before. So pop the onions into the mixing bowl. You want about 110 grams, which is 1 onion, and then pop the lid on, and we want to blitz this up for 5 seconds at speed 5. Okay, now look at this. The onions are perfectly chopped up. Now we're going to need to do a little bit of work over the hopper because I want to sear off our beef. Now for this recipe, you need something that lends itself to slow cooking. So something like blade, flank, chuck or brisket is absolutely perfect. It will be beautifully tender and add so much flavour to this dish. Also, we're going to sear off our bacon and our onions. Now the reason for doing this introduces extra levels of flavour, so it's really worth taking part in this step. Right, come on over to the hob. Now you can do this in a pan all at once if you've got a large enough pan, but you want to get it over a high heat. And because I've only got a small pan here, I'm going to actually do it separately. So first off, I'm going to sear the beef until it's beautifully golden brown. Then I'm going to add in the bacon and the onions until they're beautifully golden. And this is what we're looking for. Beautifully golden and packed full of flavour.
Now we're ready to build the dish.
So we're going to need 2 cloves of garlic, so pop those into the mixing bowl, stick the lid on, and we're going to blitz this up for 5 seconds at speed 5. So just remove the lid, and we want to scrape down the sides of the mixing bowl, and this garlic is beautifully chopped. But for the next ingredient, we want some carrots. So I've just peeled these, and all I'm going to do is just cut them into nice bite-sized pieces. But make sure they're all around the same size so they cook at the same time. So you want about 150 grams, so it's about 4 small carrots, and these are going to go into the mixing bowl along with the garlic, a little bit from a sous chef. And then we're going to add 200 grams of good quality red wine. Now the age-old rule is, if it's not good enough to drink, it's not good enough to cook with. So just pour that in, along with 150 grams of water. Now we're going to add in a good pinch of sea salt and
Some pepper.
grind it in. The next ingredient is a bouquet garni.
What's a bouquet garni?
So it's basically a package of herbs which really flavours the dish. So in this case, we're going to use some bay leaves. We've also got some fresh thyme and some fresh parsley. Bunch the herbs up and grab yourself a piece of string. We want to wrap it around. And the reason we do this, Indy, is so we can remove it at the end. And we've got all of the flavour from the herbs, but they don't stay in there and it's easy to remove. Into the mixing bowl that goes, and then we're going to add the contents of our frying pan. So we've got the beef, the onions and the bacon. So just pop that in there, scraping out every single last bit of flavour. Then we're going to pop the lid on, and we want to cook this for 30 minutes at 100 degrees, stir. This looks and smells absolutely incredible. There's one more ingredient we need to add, and we've got 100 grams of butter mushrooms. Now these are actually chestnut mushrooms here, but we just need to slice them in half and then pop them straight into the pot. It's like you've done that before, Indy.
A million times.
And that is pretty much that. So we're going to carry on cooking, and we want to stick the lid back on. We need another 40 minutes, 100 degrees, speed stir. Right, let's go and have a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Or squash.
Yeah. I cannot wait to dive into this now.
How good does that look? But we are pairing this up with this beautiful beef bourguignon. Now, at this point, you can thicken it up with a little bit of cornflour and water, but to be honest with you, this is absolutely perfect. So I'm just going to pour it into a serving container. Look at this. This really is a French treat. We've got the beautiful, creamy, rich Dauphinoise potatoes, and we've got our beef bourguignon. Now this beef is just literally falling apart. Look at that, Indy. That looks so good. We're gonna have to let this cool down for a couple of minutes though before we dive in. We really hope you enjoyed our Taste of France, but make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Also, turn the notification bell on to be notified when we do another video like this.
This has been our beautiful Dauphinoise potatoes. We've got our beef bourguignon, and we will see you again very soon for some more Thermomix fun in the kitchen. Au revoir.
Au revoir.